Hey folks, Professor Finn, and we are back studying pathology. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 12 of Pathology and Microbiology for Mortuary Science students by Mullins. And before we do that, make sure to like, share, subscribe, share this on your social media, let others know these lectures exist. Let's get the presentation up and talk about diseases of the urinary system. So, disorders of the urinary system. They are very important to us because of the accumulation of nitrogen in tissues of the body. So, nitrogen as a gas is colorless and odorless and is generally an inert element. As a liquid, it is colorless and odorless with an appearance similar to water. Nitrogen is found in food compounds, found in decomposition byproducts, and waste products due to diseases of the urinary system. The more nitrogen in the body, the higher the formaldehyde demand for preservation. The more nitrogen, the more preservative you're going to need. Uremia, the first disease up, is a disorder of the urinary system caused by retention in the blood of nitrogenous waste products normally excreted in the urine. It is noticeable by strong odor and yellow color in the tissues. Signs and symptoms of uremia include nausea, vomiting, headache, dizziness, reduced vision, coma or convulsions, urinous odor of the breath, stupor, lack of pupil reaction, dry skin, hard rapid pulse, high blood pressure, and it may mask jaundice. Next up, we have Bright's disease, which is an antiquated name for kidney disease in general. First up, we have glomerulonephritis. During embalming, the embalmer may notice the smell of urine and venous draining in tissue fluids. There are two types of glomerulonephritis, which is acute glomerulonephritis, which is a sudden onset of blood and protein in the urine accompanied by salt and water retention, and then chronic glomerulonephritis, which is where the glomerulus becomes fibrous. So, causes for the acute version of glomerulonephritis is streptococcal infection, skin infection, hepatitis, diabetes, and IV drug use. Loss of appetite, generalized itching or pruritus, nausea, easy bruising, nosebleeds, facial swelling, leg edema, shortness of breath, ascites, skin rash, pale skin, and joint swelling. Complications of chronic glomerulonephritis includes weakness, loss of appetite, weight loss, pus in urine, early morning nausea and vomiting, change in taste sensation, sleeping during the day, wakefulness at night, seizures, and tremors. Treatments include antibiotics. Urinary tract infections, or UTIs. First up, we have pyelitis and pyelonephritis. So, pyelitis is any inflammation of the renal pelvis and calyces of the kidneys. Pyelonephritis is an inflammatory disorder of the nephrons of the kidneys caused by renal infections. So, pyelonephritis is commonly referred to as a kidney infection. Signs and symptoms of pyelitis and pyelonephritis are fever, nausea, vomiting, pain in the flanks of the abdomen, high blood pressure, and insufficient urine production. Complications. First up, we have chronic pyelonephritis, which occurs almost exclusively in persons with major anatomic anomalies such as urinary tract obstructions, kidney stones, or birth defects of the kidneys. Ureteritis is an inflammation of one or both of the ureters. Causes: infection spreads from kidneys to the urinary bladder. Nerves that cause the ureters to function then become defective. Next up, we have cystitis, which is any inflammation of the urinary bladder. We have interstitial cystitis, which is idiopathic. It is a recurring condition characterized by discomfort and pain in the bladder. Signs and symptoms of interstitial cystitis is the urgent need to urinate. You may urinate as many as 60 times a day. Increasing pain as bladder fills or empties. Women's symptoms increase during menstruation. Complications of interstitial cystitis can include the fact that there is no cure for it, but also antibiotics are not an effective treatment. Urethritis, also known as a urinary tract infection, is an inflammatory condition of the urethra. Women are more likely than men to get urethritis. What are causes of urethritis? Neisseria gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, and in men, trichomonas, which is a parasitic infection. Signs and symptoms of urethritis is a painful urination and yellow-green discharge of pus. Hydronephrosis is not a disease itself. Kidneys become distended due to a backup of urine. Bilateral hydronephrosis occurs when both of the kidneys are affected. Causes of hydronephrosis include pregnancy, obstruction of the renal system, backflow of urine, and kidney stones. Signs and symptoms of hydronephrosis can be abdominal flank pain, abdominal mass, nausea, vomiting, urinary tract infections, fever, disruption of urinary output, frequency of urination, and urgency to urinate. Unilateral hydronephrosis, so one kidney, can be asymptomatic. You don't even know you have it. Complications: prolonged hydronephrosis results in renal failure. Treatments: insertion of stent will relieve obstruction but does not treat the cause. So you get the stent in while you try to figure out what the actual cause is. Nephrolithiasis, a condition in which one or more renal calculi are present in the system, and renal calculi are known as kidney stones. Nephrolithiasis causes, really it's when a calculi forms when urine becomes overconcentrated with calcium oxalates, phosphates, and carbonate. So the big thing here is you need to be urinating frequently and you need to be drinking lots of water, and that will help prevent against the formation of kidney stones. Signs and symptoms of nephrolithiasis: it's often asymptomatic until the stone begins to move down the ureter. Big stone, smaller tube. Problem, right? Premature infants are likely to develop calculi, nausea, vomiting, urinary frequency, hematuria or blood in urine, severe pelvic and abdominal pain, fever, chills, and discoloration of urine. Unfortunately, nephrolithiasis is usually recurrent. Most calculi pass normally. Surgery may be required, and then also treatment by lithotripsy may be an option for some individuals. Next, we have polycystic kidney, which is a hereditary disorder characterized by bilateral grape-like clusters of cysts that replace normal renal tissue. Pressure of growths eventually disrupt the filtration of the blood as well as production of the urine. Kidney malformations. Renal agenesis, which means a person was born with only one kidney. You have renal dysplasia, which is abnormal tissue development occurs in one or both kidneys. Renal hypoplasia, which is smaller than normal kidneys and may be a complication once the child grows into an adult. Renal cell carcinoma or hypernephroma, one form of kidney cancer with a lack of early warning signs, diverse clinical manifestations, and resistance to radiation and chemotherapy. It originates in the epithelium of the proximal renal tubule. It is the sixth leading cause of cancer death in the United States. It is more common in European descent than Asian or African, and more common in men than in women. Signs and symptoms of renal cell carcinoma are hematuria, abdominal flank pain, abdominal mass, weight loss, fever, hypertension, and night sweats. Complications of renal cell carcinoma is that it metastasizes quickly to the lungs, soft tissues, bone, liver, and brain. Resistance to traditional therapies of chemotherapy and radiation. Carcinoma of the urinary bladder, a bladder cancer caused by transitional cell carcinoma. Causes? Well, possible link to carcinogenic agents in cigarette smoke and industrial exposure to aromatic amines. And you can learn more about aromatic amines in the chemistry lectures. There is a playlist for that on my channel. Signs and symptoms is painless hematuria, so painless presence of blood in your urine. Renal failure is a loss of function of the kidneys. Causes of acute renal failure include sudden drop in blood pressure brought on by trauma, complications in surgery, septic shock, hemorrhage, burns, or dehydration. A blockage or narrowing of the renal artery, acute pyelonephritis, septicemia, or generalized infection of the body. And thankfully, acute renal failure is reversible. Chronic renal failure can be caused by glomerulonephritis, polycystic kidney disease, kidney stones, chronic infections, congestive heart failure, diabetes, hypertension, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, urinary tract obstructions, slowly progressive and rarely reversible, which is a problem, right? And this may be fatal. Signs and symptoms of acute renal failure include decreased urine output, oliguria, which is decreased urine volume, anuria, which is a complete lack of urine output, coma, edema of the ankles, feet, or legs, bruising easily, hallucinations, nosebleeds, vomiting blood, and seizures. Chronic signs of renal failure is uremia. Signs and symptoms of acute renal failure: weight loss, vomiting, nausea, headache, frequent hiccups, pruritus or generalized itching throughout the body, changes in urine output, and easily bruised. The list continues with easy bleeding, hematuria, melena, which is bloody stools, delirium, coma, muscle twitching or cramps, seizures, and deposits of white crystals on the skin. Chronic treatment for renal failure is kidney transplant. Got to get rid of the non-functioning ones and give you one that works. Dialysis is the process of diffusing blood across a semipermeable membrane to remove toxic materials and to maintain fluid, electrolyte, and acid-base balance in cases of impaired kidney function or absence of the kidneys. May be used in kidney failure or to remove toxic substances in the blood quickly in emergency situations. Hemodialysis involves circulating blood through special filters in a hemodialysis machine. It needs to be adequate access to the vascular system, either through an arteriovenous fistula or an arteriovenous graft. Blood is taken from an artery and is returned through a vein. Postmortem conditions associated with urinary disorders: edema, and we treat that the same way we've treated all other edema, chemical modification or co-injections, as well as, if necessary, surgical removal or heat spatula. Uremia, which you hit it hard. You need to really increase your concentration of your preservative. So whether that is a higher concentration or a stronger index. Dehydration, which with uremia is kind of a problem because, of course, if you are injecting stronger percentages or higher indexes, you are at increased risk of dehydration. So you want to make sure that you are picking and choosing the proper higher index or higher concentration chemicals. Odor, which can be masked to a certain extent, and urotropin, the production of the reaction between ammonia and formaldehyde. In essence, it creates a compound that will accelerate decomposition. So you need to inject enough preservative to not just overcome the fact that you have the nitrogen in the tissues, you also need to make sure that there's enough in there to hold the reaction as it forms urotropin and breaks down, because it will do that right out the bat. Formaldehyde has a strong affinity for nitrogen. That concludes this lecture, folks. Once again, like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it on your social media. Drop a comment in the section below. Let me know how I'm doing, and we will see you next video.